So we're going to go through how to create a menu like this, for example, that you may want to be able to use to organize your tasks, for example. This happens to be focused on tasks. So here we're going to go through exactly how to do this within Power Apps. So stay tuned and we're going to jump right to this. So let's go ahead and break down to the code. And with the code, we're actually we're going to go through this document here so that you can kind of get an explanation along the way. So, this document is actually the content for a book. So this will be coming out as a book soon. So, all right. Anyways, here you go. So the first thing we're going to do to create this is it's actually a two-step process. So we have to put in the fields, and these are different fields. So if you don't know how to put in text fields, these are text input fields. So you just go to text input, you put the fields in, and you notice here that I'm pointing this item means the selected item, and then this is the column within the list. This happens to be a list. And same thing with date, so on and so forth, right? Pretty simple. That's it. And then when you click on here, you go to more, but we're not going to worry about that right now because really we just want to capture what we're changing here on this part of the screen. Okay, so let's go ahead and flip back. So here we're going to do this, we're going to have to find out what changes in the environment. And to do that, we're going to insert a toggle. So you can see here toggle. Let me show you where that is right here. It's hidden. So if you don't know how to do a hidden toggle, it's pretty simple. You just go to visibility here and say false. So the toggle's hidden, but now we're going to actually look and see what the toggle's doing by going to its default. Okay, so let's go ahead and again, if you don't have the book, then just pause the video here and capture these screens. It's the same thing as a book. So here I go through and explain each one of what the code actually means. I'm going to explain this to you right now in the video. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Notice here just a couple things. See the color there? Orange, orange, green, green. See how they kind of match? And so these colors are the input boxes that you see here on the screen. And these are all associated with the default for that hidden toggle that we just put in there. And essentially what this is doing is saying this item, so the selected record, min needed, which is the, here we can probably explain it just as well here. Min needed is the field name, excuse me, the column name within the list is not equal to whatever value is in text min need.text. So let's look at one here, for example. Another one, this item archive switch is not equal to the archive switch text file. So let's see what it says there. So if the archive says no inside of the, if the archive switch says no inside of the list currently, and we make no changes, then it's going to skip it. But do you notice here that this is an OR? So this is saying if any of these change, then I need to save. If any of them change, okay? And we're going to look at the save here next. But if any of these values change, then we're going to, when we hit save, all of the information's going to be updated. Now, why do we do this? We do this primarily because, notice here we have a lot of information, right? We have a lot of information here inside of this gallery that we're displaying here. We don't want to, every time we hit save, to save every single one. We just want to save the ones that have changed. So whichever within, this is a selected record right here, okay, order signs, paint deck. These are the selected records. So when we make a change to it, for example, paint deck, we're going to say yes. We're going to go down here, we're going to say yes. Okay, now we've done a lot of these. Say yes. I probably need to update this more often. And yes, okay. Then when we click on save, notice what's going to happen. it's going to flip to no, and then notice how it comes back and is saying yes, yes, yes. Because what happens is when we hit save, it's going out and saving all of the changes, and then it's coming back and updating this information. So let's see what that means. So this is just telling us what's different. So how do we actually save the information from here? So notice here we're going to go through the code details, and let me pause here for a second. So again, if you don't have the book, just do a screenshot or pause the video here. What we're doing is I'm explaining every little detail related to the code itself. Okay, so here, etc. Okay, we'll go up, and then there's the next one. Okay, so let's look at the actual code. So the code says here we're going to do a filter for all, for everything, on this gallery right here. Gallery order-based tasks, all items. So if we look at that gallery, let's go ahead and take a look here. So we're going to click on there just so that we can find it. Where is it? There's the field. So there it is right there. That's the gallery itself. Okay? And so we're saying right here, whoops, that's the save. Okay? Order-based all items. So we're saying look at all items inside this gallery. Toggle one dot value. Toggle one is right here. Toggle one, and notice that's the hidden one that we did right here with all of this stuff. Okay, so this isn't that tough. Now we're going to use a patch command. Now patch is going to use this is the data source. Okay, in this case it happens to be a list, so priority tasks. Okay. This record means that the record that is selected, right? Remember that when you go up to here and you click on the gallery and you click on this, this is the record selected. Okay, right there. All right. Now, these are the fields. So this needed, is a column within priority tasks for this record. So these are all column headers right here, column headers, okay, in priority tasks. And again, this is a list. This right here is the name of the field name that's collecting that data. So let's look at that. So minutes used right here, notice here, there is minutes used, okay, and that's probably a bad example because I think I changed that one. Let's look at this minute. So there's no change there. Let's look at this one right here, archive. Okay, so archive switch. Notice here it says archive switch 3. When we go over to our document, this should say archive switch 3. So notice the column is archive switch, right? We know that because it's right here, this item, archive switch. And we also have renamed this, makes it a lot easier. Archive switch. The 3 is because we've done this a couple times. And then this is the name of that text field. Okay, let's look at one of the dates. Due date, task due date. Notice here it says data, task due date. Okay, so let's look for task due date. Task due date right there. So here, this right here is the name of the column inside of the list, task due date. This date value indicates that this is going to be a date value. How do we know that? Because here we're selecting, this is a date, whoops, this is a date value right here, okay? We're using this drop down, it's a date value, okay? And then this, again, is the name, data, task due date, that's the name of the field, right? So if you click here, you can see the name of the field. You can also, by the way, see the name of the field right here, okay? And then dot selected date means that whatever date, when we click on here, whatever date we select is the date that it's going to indicate, that it's going to post in here and then ultimately save, okay? And then this right here, these two lines here, this is in the save code. these two lines do some archiving actions. So they're Power App runs that we're running from within Power Apps inside of Power Automate. So we're going to go into those in another video. We're not going to talk about that today. So that's basically all you have to do. So it's a two-step process, just to summarize real quick. The first step is right here, create a toggle for the changes. So we want to create that toggle. Again, pause the video to capture the screens. Let me go next screen. Pause the video to capture the screens. Remember, we're creating the toggle. Pause the video to capture the screen. And then here we're going to go through the code. This is the actual code right here that we replaced multiple times, as you can see here. And then the next thing we do is save. So pause the video to capture the details. And then here are the details. And I explained down through here exactly where I went through the video. But if you want it as a reference, pause the video now and do a screen capture. And now you've got all, and then this is the code. So if you purchase the book, it comes also as a PDF version that allows you to literally just copy and paste the code. So it makes it a lot easier for you to get started. And that is how you create a gallery that will sort here based on priorities and companies. See other videos on details on how to set up the erase button and how to set these fields up, and then how when you click on this, how it goes into a bigger form for you. And then of course this is a whole nother video as well.